The jungle was alive with sounds. Strange birds screeched in the trees, their wings flashing bright colors as they flew. Thick vines hung down from branches, dripping with glowing liquid. The ground was wet, covered with plants that seemed to move when touched. Captain Ryan stepped carefully, his boots sinking slightly into the soft earth. He had landed on this planet only an hour ago, but already he felt the weight of danger pressing against him. His mission was simple, at least on paper. He was sent to gather samples of plants and study the strange energy readings that came from this world, but nothing about the place felt simple. The air was heavy, almost too sweet, like the planet itself was trying to choke him with perfume. And in the back of his mind, Ryan had the constant feeling that he was being watched. He stopped, his hand resting on the side of his blaster. The jungle had gone quiet. No bird sounds, no rustling leaves, just silence. His heart began to beat faster. He turned slowly, scanning the trees. Something was there, hidden, waiting. Then he saw her. At first, Ryan thought it was some kind of predator beast. A figure crouched on a branch, her body long and lean, her skin pale with faint patterns glowing across it. Her eyes shone golden in the dim light, and her teeth flashed as she smiled. She moved like a shadow, dropping from the branch without a sound. When she landed, her claws dug into the soil like knives. Ryan froze, his blaster still holstered. She was taller than him by at least a head. Her body was strong, every movement sharp, controlled. The jungle seemed to bend around her, as if it recognized her as its hunter. Ryan swallowed, forcing his voice to stay steady. "Hello. I mean no harm," he said carefully. The alien girl tilted her head, watching him with strange curiosity. Her nostrils flared, and she stepped closer, each footfall silent. Ryan wanted to step back, but his legs felt locked. The air around her seemed to thrum with power. She leaned close to close, her breath warm against his skin. Ryan could feel her eyes studying his face, his chest, his arms, like she was measuring him. Then she spoke, her voice low and almost gentle. "You smell delicious," she whispered, her lips curling into a smile. Her golden eyes narrowed as she inhaled deeply again. "Your flesh must be so tender." The words sent a chill down Ryan's spine. He wanted to reach for his blaster, but his instincts screamed that if he moved, she would strike. Her claws glinted in the faint light, sharp enough to tear through him in a second. Ryan forced himself to stay calm, even as fear coiled tight in his chest. "What do you mean by that?" he asked slowly, trying not to let his voice shake. The alien girl's smile widened. Though it did not feel cruel, it was the smile of a predator amused by its prey. "You are human," she said, as if tasting the word. "I have never met one before, but the stories are true. Your scent is strong, unlike anything else." She circled him slowly, moving like a cat around its meal. Her eyes glowed brighter each time she looked at him. Ryan could feel her presence pressing against him, every step filled with danger. He thought quickly, searching for something to say that might keep her from seeing him as food. "I am not prey," he said firmly, trying to sound confident. "I came here in peace. I came to learn." The alien girl stopped, standing behind him, so close he could feel her breath on his neck. Her claws traced lightly over his shoulder, not cutting, but reminding him of their sharpness. "You are brave to say that," she whispered. Her voice was soft, but the threat beneath it was clear. Most creatures would already be running. Ryan swallowed hard, his heart pounding in his ears. He did not know if he should stay still or move, speak or stay silent. Then, to his surprise, she stepped back. Her eyes still burned with hunger. Was it curiosity? She studied him with her head tilted, as if she could not decide what to do with him. "You are different," she said slowly. "Not just tender flesh, not just meat." Ryan let out the breath he had been holding. He knew this encounter was far from over, but in that moment, he understood one thing clearly. She could kill him in an instant, but she hadn't. And that small choice, the choice to let him live even for a few moments, was the only reason he still stood. The jungle around them remained silent. Every creature seemed to wait, as if the world itself was holding its breath. Ryan met her. Golden eyes, trying to show no fear. Her lips curled again into that strange smile, and deep inside, Ryan knew this was only the beginning of something far more dangerous than he had ever faced before. Ryan stood frozen, his heart thudding like a drum inside his chest. The alien girl's golden eyes glowed faintly in the dim light, watching him with the stillness of a hunter. Her words still echoed in his mind. "You smell delicious. Your flesh must be so tender." Every instinct screamed at him to run. But some strange force rooted him in place. She moved again, circling him. Slowly, her steps light, almost soundless. Her claws tapped softly against the damp ground as she studied him. Ryan could feel the weight of her presence, like a predator stalking prey. But there was something else in her gaze, something more than hunger. Curiosity, maybe, or caution, finally. Ryan found his voice, though it came out hoarse. "Are you going to kill me?" he asked, forcing his eyes to meet hers. The alien girl tilted her head, her expression unreadable. For a long moment, she said nothing, letting the silence stretch until it felt unbearable. Then, she gave a small, sharp laugh, low in her throat. "If I wanted to kill you, human," she said, "you would already be dead." Her words should have calmed him, but instead, they made his skin prickle. Ryan forced himself to stay still. "Then what do you want from me?" he asked carefully. Her smile widened, but it was not cruel this time. "You are not like the others," she said softly. "Your scent is stronger, richer. It is strange." She leaned forward, inhaling again, as though trying to understand him through smell alone. Ryan resisted the urge to step back. She looked fascinated, not savage, but the line between the two felt razor thin. "What do you mean others?" Ryan asked. The alien girl's eyes flicked toward the jungle around them. "My people," she said, her tone darker now. "They hunt flesh. They take what they want. They would not hesitate to taste you." Her voice dropped lower. "If they find you, they will not ask questions like I do. They will feast." Ryan's stomach tightened. The truth sinking in. He wasn't just in danger from her, but from an entire tribe of hunters like her. And if she was right, they might already be near. He glanced around the jungle, his nerves on edge. "How many?" he asked, trying to keep his voice steady. The alien girl's golden eyes locked onto his again. "Enough," she whispered. "Enough that your weapon will not save you." She pointed lightly at the blaster on his hip. Ryan's hand twitched. But he did not reach for it. He knew she was right. His weapon was designed for defense, not war against an entire tribe of carnivorous hunters. "Then why are you warning me?" he asked cautiously. This time, she hesitated, her sharp expression softening for a brief moment, "Because," she said finally, "you are different." The words seemed to come reluctantly, as though she herself did not understand them. "I should see you as prey, but I do not." Ryan blinked, unsure if he had heard her correctly. Different, not prey. The words gave him hope, but also raised questions. Was she protecting him more? Was she simply playing with her food? Suddenly, the silence of the jungle broke. A loud, distant howl echoed through the trees, followed by sharp cries. Ryan felt his blood run cold. The alien girl stiffened, her ears twitching at the sound. Her golden eyes hardened. "They are coming," she said sharply. "You must move now, without warning." She grabbed his arm and pulled him into the thick undergrowth. Her grip was firm, but not painful. Her strength far beyond his. Ryan stumbled after her, trying to keep up as she moved swiftly through the jungle. Branches snapped. Leaves brushed against his face. The glowing plants smeared strange colors onto his uniform. Every step made his heart pound harder. Where are we going? Ryan gasped. The alien girl didn't look back. Somewhere safe, she said quickly. Somewhere they will not follow. They moved until Ryan's legs burned. Until the sounds of the hunters grew closer. Snarls, footsteps, rustling leaves. Finally, she stopped near a large stone structure half buried under vines. It looked ancient, maybe a ruin. She pushed him inside, her eyes scanning the trees one last time before following. Inside, it was dark, but the walls glowed faintly with strange markings. Ryan leaned against the wall, trying to catch his breath. His chest rose and fell quickly, but his eyes stayed on her. "You saved me," he said, half in disbelief. "Why?" The alien girl stood tall, her claws still ready, her eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. "I do not know," she admitted. Her voice lower now, almost troubled. "You should be meat, human. But I cannot treat you like the others." She stepped closer again, her golden eyes softening just slightly. "Perhaps," she whispered, "you are something more." Ryan swallowed, the tension between them heavy. He still did not know if she was his protector, her editor holding back her hunger. But one thing was clear, his fate now rested in her hands. The ruin was silent, except for Ryan's uneven breathing. The stone walls glowed faintly with patterns, as if the place held a life of its own. Shadows stretched across the floor, shifting whenever the strange lights flickered. Ryan stood near, the entrance still shaken from the chase, while the alien girl remained close. Her golden eyes fixed on him. Her gaze was sharp, but not filled with hunger now. Instead, it was filled with something else, something he had not expected. Curiosity. She stepped closer, circling him once again, but slower this time. Her head tilted slightly, as if trying to solve a puzzle. "You are fragile," she said softly, her voice echoing in the stone chamber. "Your bones are thin, your skin soft. And yet, you did not break when I touched you." Her claw traced lightly across his sleeve, not cutting the fabric, just feeling. Ryan's heart pounded, but he forced himself to stay calm. He tried to speak with steady words. "Humans are not as weak as they look," he said. Her golden eyes flicked up to meet his, and for a moment, he thought he saw the smallest spark of respect. Still, she leaned closer again, inhaling deeply. Her lips curved slightly, as if she could taste his fear. "Your scent is strong," she murmured. "It is not just flesh. It carries something else." Ryan stiffened, unsure what she meant. "Something else?" he asked carefully. She smiled faintly, showing the sharp tips of her teeth. "It carries spirit," she whispered. "A fire that my people do not have." Ryan felt a chill at her words. He did not know if this was praise or another warning, but the way she said it made him realize something. She was not studying him as prey anymore. She was studying him as if he were rare, unusual, almost valuable. "What do you really want from me?" Ryan asked, his voice quieter now. The alien girl paused, her claws curling slightly at her sides. "I do not know," she admitted, her voice lower. "I have hunted many creatures, but never one like you. You confuse me, human, and that is dangerous." Ryan shifted uneasily. Dangerous for who? For her, for him. Suddenly, a sound echoed from outside, a shriek followed by a low growl. The girl's body tensed immediately, her head snapping toward the entrance, her claws extended, gleaming in the faint glow of the ruins. "They are close," she hissed. "My people have picked up your trail." Ryan's chest tightened, fear rushing back into him. "How many?" he asked. "Enough to rip you apart," she said sharply. "But they will not enter this place." Yet, Ryan frowned. "Why not?" She glanced back at the glowing walls, her expression unreadable. These stones carry old power. A power even my people respect, she whispered. But it will not protect us forever, for a moment. Silence filled the chamber again, heavy and tense. Then she turned her eyes back to him, sharper now. Tell me about humans, she said suddenly, her tone commanding. Ryan blinked in surprise. What? Tell me, she repeated, stepping closer. What are you? What makes you fight? What makes you different? Ryan swallowed, realizing she was serious. He chose his words carefully. Humans. We survive, he said. We are small compared to many. We compared to others. But we endure. We adapt. Her golden eyes narrowed, listening carefully. Ryan continued, when the universe tells us we are prey. We fight to prove we are not. Her lips curved again. Though this time it was not a predator's smile. It was something else, something almost. Intrigued, you fight even when you cannot win, she murmured. That is foolish, or brave. Ryan said firmly, meeting her eyes, the moment stretched, charged with unspoken meaning. The alien girl studied him, as if weighing his words. Finally, she gave a slow nod. Perhaps both, she whispered. Then the growls outside grew louder, closer. Ryan tensed, reaching for his blaster. The alien girl raised a clawed hand to stop him. No sound. She whispered sharply, her voice low and urgent. They will smell you, but they cannot touch you here. Not yet. Ryan froze, his weapon half drawn. He watched her move toward the entrance. Crouching low like a shadow, her body seemed ready to strike, every muscle sharp and controlled. Through the cracks of the ruin, Ryan could see shadows moving. Glowing eyes passing through the jungle, searching, waiting. The alien girl did not move. Only watched them. Minutes passed like hours, until finally the shadows drifted away. Their howls fading into the distance. Only then did she stand again. Her golden eyes returning to him. You see now? She said softly, my people are not like me. They would not hesitate to taste your flesh. Ryan nodded slowly. And you? He asked carefully. She held his gaze for a long time before answering. I do not know, she admitted, but I saved you, human. Remember that. Ryan's chest rose and fell heavily. He knew she spoke the truth, but he also knew her curiosity was as dangerous as her claws. She was torn between predator and protector, hunger and fascination, and Ryan realized with a sinking feeling that this dangerous curiosity might be the only thing keeping him alive. The ruins were quiet, but Ryan felt no safety inside them. The glowing walls gave off a strange hum, as though the stones themselves remembered old battles. Outside the jungle breathed with danger, every sound carrying the weight of hunters. Ryan leaned against the cold wall, his hand brushing the grip of his blaster, while the alien girl stood near the entrance, her golden eyes scanning the trees. For a long time, neither spoke. Finally, Ryan broke the silence. You saved me twice, he said quietly. Once from yourself, and once from your people. His voice was steady, but the question behind it was clear. Why? The alien girl's eyes narrowed slightly, her claws curling at her sides. She turned to face him, her movements sharp but graceful. I do not know, she admitted. It is against instinct, against law, against everything my people believe. Her voice dropped lower, almost troubled. You should be meat, human. But I cannot see you as only flesh. Ryan studied her carefully. Noticing the faint hesitation in her voice, there was no hunger in her eyes now, only conflict. You could have left me out there, Ryan said softly, but you didn't. The golden eyes flickered, her lips curving slightly. Perhaps I am foolish, she whispered. Or perhaps I want to understand why your scent carries fire. Before Ryan could answer, a sharp crack echoed from outside. A branch snapped, followed by low growls. His chest tightened as the sounds of footsteps closed in. The alien girl stiffened, her body instantly alert. "They are hunting still," she hissed. "They will not stop until they taste your flesh." Ryan's grip tightened on his blaster. "Then we can't stay here," he said. She gave a sharp nod. "You are right, but running will not save you for long." Her golden eyes softened for just a heartbeat. "If you trust me, I will take you to a place where their law cannot reach. Trust her." The thought made Ryan's skin prickle. She was a predator. Her people were killers. And yet, she had chosen to protect him for reasons she did not even understand herself. And right now, trust was all he had. "Fine," Ryan said at last. "Lead the way." They slipped into the jungle together. The alien girl, moving like a shadow. Ryan stumbling to keep up. Every step was a race against the hunters. Their cries echoing in the distance. Ryan's heart pounded, but the girl never slowed. Never faltered. She seemed to know every path, every route, every shadow, at one point. A massive beast burst from the undergrowth, its jaws wide, its eyes glowing red. Ryan raised his blaster, but before he could fire, the alien girl leaped forward. Her claws flashed, tearing into the creature's throat with deadly precision. The beast fell with a shudder, its body crashing into the ferns. Ryan froze, staring at her in shock. She turned to him, her teeth bared, her golden eyes glowing fiercely. But the rage in her expression softened when she looked at him. "Stay close," she said firmly. Wiping blood from her claws, Ryan followed silently. But his mind raced. She was terrifying, powerful beyond anything he had seen. Yet she had killed the beast for him, not against him. The thought sank deeper into his chest. This predator was slowly becoming his shield. Hours passed, the jungle growing darker as the twin moons rose above. Finally, they reached a deep canyon where the rocks glowed faint blue. She led him down a hidden path carved between cliffs until they reached a cave. The air inside was cool, the stone walls etched with strange markings like those in the ruins. "This place is forbidden," she whispered. "My people fear it. They will not follow us here." Ryan let out a long breath of relief. "So, we're safe." Her lips curved faintly, but her eyes held shadows. "For now," she said, "but nothing lasts forever." They sat near the cave wall, the silence heavy but not unfriendly. Ryan studied her carefully, seeing not just the predator, but something more, a warrior carrying the weight of her tribe's laws, yet breaking them for him. She caught his gaze, her golden eyes softer than before. "You are still afraid of me," she said quietly. Ryan did not deny it. "Yes," he admitted, "but I'm learning to be afraid." Differently. Her head tilted, curiosity flickering again. "What does that mean?" Ryan hesitated, searching for the words. "It means I don't know if you will kill me or save me," he said honestly. "But right now, I believe you'll save me for a moment." Her expression softened in a way he had never expected. No hunger, no sharpness, just a faint spark of something else. Respect, maybe even connection. She leaned closer, her voice a whisper. "You are either the bravest fool I have met, or the first human worth sparing." Ryan felt his chest tighten at her words. A predator and a prey, sitting side by side in the forbidden dark. It was madness, but it was real. And as the jungle echoed with distant cries, Ryan realized something had shifted. This bond was dangerous, forbidden, impossible, yet it was the only thing keeping him alive. The cave gave Ryan a fragile sense of safety. But it did not last. By morning, the jungle stirred with new voices, low growls, sharp cries, the sound of many feet moving together. The alien girl, Kareth, stiffened as the echoes reached them, Her golden eyes grew hard. "They have found us," she whispered. Ryan's stomach twisted before he could ask how. The ground outside shook with heavy steps. Shadows filled the canyon mouth, figures taller and broader than Kareth, their eyes burning red and gold, their claws gleaming in the morning light. Ryan's hand shot to his blaster, but Kareth grabbed his wrist, shaking her head. "Do not fight, human," she said sharply. "They will crush you before you even raise the weapon." The hunters poured into the cave like a tide of shadows, surrounding them in seconds. Ryan felt his heart slam against his ribs as the tribe's leader stepped forward. The alien chief was massive. His shoulders broad, his skin patterned with scars that glowed faintly in the light. He looked at Kareth first, his gaze sharp as a blade. "You broke our law," he growled, his voice deep enough to shake the stone walls. "You spared flesh that was yours to take, and worse, you protect it still." Kareth did not flinch, though her claws tightened at her sides. "This human is different," she said firmly. "He carries fire. Spirit, he is not prey." Her words made the tribe hiss and growl, their claws scraping against stone. The chief's eyes narrowed at Ryan, studying him like a butcher studies meat. "Different." He sneered, then let him prove it. The words made Ryan's blood run cold. "Prove it." "How?" he asked cautiously. The chief's teeth glinted in a cruel smile. "With the trial of flesh," he said. "Your body will be tested, your spirit weighed. If you survive, you are more than meat. If you fail, we feed." The tribe roared in agreement, the sound echoing like thunder through the cave. Kareth's golden eyes widened, her body stiff with fury. "This is madness," she snarled, but the chief silenced her with a glare. "You question me again, and you will share his trial." Ryan's chest tightened, but he forced himself to stand tall. He could not show weakness now. Not here, not before these creatures. "What is the trial?" he asked, his voice steady, though fear burned in his gut. The chief motioned for the others, and the tribe dragged him out into the canyon. The air was thick with heat, the stone floor covered in markings of old battles. Bones both alien and not were scattered near the edges. Ryan's breath caught in his throat. This was not the first trial. This was where prey came to die. The chief raised a clawed hand, his booming voice carrying over the crowd. "Trial of flesh," he roared. "Let the human prove his worth, or let his blood feed our kin." The tribe answered with howls, their voices shaking the canyon walls. Ryan stood in the center. Alone Kareth stood on the edge, her body trembling with rage, her golden eyes locked on him. She could not interfere, not without sealing both their deaths, but he saw the fire in her gaze. She was willing. If it came to that, suddenly, the ground trembled, and from a dark gate at the far end of the canyon, something emerged, a beast, massive and hideous, its body covered in thick scales, its jaws dripping with venom. Ryan's throat tightened. This was no simple trial. It was a fight for survival. The beast roared, the sound splitting the air. The tribe cheered, slamming their claws against stone. Ryan pulled his blaster free, but a warrior struck it from his hand, sending it skidding across the ground. "No weapons," the chief growled. "Flesh against flesh, spirit against spirit." Ryan's heart pounded, his hands shaking. He was trapped in a pit with a monster 3 times his size. No tools, no escape. The beast lunged, jaws snapping shut where his head had been seconds before. Ryan rolled to the side, dirt scraping his palms. The crowd howled with laughter. He scrambled to his feet, breathing hard. Every instinct screamed at him to run, but there was nowhere to go. If he failed, he would die torn apart, devoured, forgotten. But if he survived, he might just earn their respect. The beast charged again, claws ripping through the earth. Ryan ducked under its swing. Grabbing a sharp rock from the ground, he slashed it across the beast's hide, but the stone shattered against its scales. The creature roared in fury, its tail whipping around and knocking Ryan off his feet. Pain shot through his body, his vision blurring. He gasped. Forcing himself up again on the edge of the pit, Kara's claws dug into the stone, her eyes blazing with fire. "Fight, human." She shouted, "Show them you are more than flesh." Her voice cut through the chaos. Ryan's chest burned, but he forced himself to focus. Not on his weakness, not on fear, but on survival. He watched the beast carefully, noticing the way its legs bent before it struck, the way its throat glowed. Faintly, before it spat venom, it was not unstoppable. It had patterns, weaknesses. The beast lunged again, jaws open wide. This time, Ryan ran toward it instead of away, sliding under its snapping fangs. He grabbed a broken bone from the ground and jammed it deep into the soft flesh beneath its jaw. The creature roared in pain, thrashing wildly. Ryan held on, driving the bone deeper until hot blood sprayed across his arms. The tribe's howls turned to stunned silence. Ryan staggered back, panting. His body aching but still alive. The beast collapsed, its body shaking before going still. Ryan stood over it, bloodied, exhausted, but unbroken. He lifted his head too. Faced the tribe, his chest heaving. "I am not your prey," he shouted hoarsely. "I am human." For a moment, silence hung over the canyon. Then the tribe erupted in cries. Half in fury, half in awe, the chief's eyes narrowed, but even he could not hide the flicker of respect in his gaze. Kareth stepped forward, her golden eyes blazing. "With triumph, he has proven it," she said firmly. "He is more than flesh." The trial was over, but Ryan knew the danger was not. He had won this battle, but now he carried a heavier burden. He was no longer just prey, he was something. They did not understand something they might fear. The canyon still echoed with the dying cries of the beast. Ryan stood in the pit, his body trembling from pain and exhaustion. Blood soaking his arms, but he was alive. He had survived the trial of flesh. The alien hunters watched in silence, their golden and red eyes glowing with confusion. No human should have lasted even a heartbeat, and yet this one had killed the beast. Some hissed in anger, others whispered in awe. The air was heavy with disbelief. The chief finally stepped forward, his massive frame towering above Ryan. His scarred chest rose and fell slowly as he studied the human. "You killed the beast," he growled. "But you are still fragile, still soft." His eyes narrowed. "You are no warrior of our kind. You are an accident of luck." Ryan's chest burned. But he forced himself to stand tall. His voice came rough but steady. "Luck didn't keep me alive," he said. "Spirit did, and you saw it with your own eyes." A murmur spread through the tribe, their voices clashing in debate. Some spat on the ground, calling for his flesh. Others nodded slowly, admitting they had seen something more, something rare. Kareth suddenly leaped forward. Standing between Ryan and the chief, her golden eyes burned with fire, her claws gleaming in the canyon light. "He has proven himself," she declared, her voice sharp and unwavering. "You called for trial, and he passed. By our own law, he is more than meat." The tribe roared, some in agreement, others in rage. The chief's expression darkened, his teeth bared. "You dare speak of law to me?" he thundered. "You broke it the moment you spared him, Kareth. You broke it again by defending him now." Kareth did not flinch. Her body was tense, but her voice carried power. "Then I will break it again," she said coldly, "because I will not let you take him." The canyon fell into stunned silence. Ryan stared at her, his heart pounding not from fear of the tribe, but from the weight of what she had just done. She had openly defied her people, her chief, her laws, all. For him, the chief's claws extended, his eyes blazing with fury. You would betray your kin for flesh. He snarled. Kareth's lips curled, her voice low and fierce. He is not flesh, he is fire. And if you cannot see that, then you are blind. The tribe howled, the sound shaking the stone walls. Warriors stepped forward, their claws ready. Their teeth bared. Ryan's chest tightened. This was no longer about proving himself. This was rebellion, and Kareth had lit the spark. The chief raised his hand, silencing the cries. His gaze locked on Kareth, his voice dripping with venom. Then you are no daughter of this tribe. You are in exile. The words struck like a blade. Kareth's body stiffened, but her golden eyes did not waver. So be it, she said firmly. I choose exile with him. Ryan's throat tightened. She had given up everything, her people, her tribe, her place in the world, all because she chose to stand at his side. The chief's roar shook the canyon. Then you will both die. The warriors surged forward, claws flashing, eyes burning. Ryan's heart leaped. Kareth moved faster. She pushed him back toward the canyon wall, her claws striking against the first attacker. Sparks flying as talon met talon. Her movements were fierce, fluid, a storm of strength and rage. Ryan scrambled to grab his fallen blaster from the dirt. As he raised it, Kareth's voice cut through the chaos. Run when I say, she shouted, her claws tearing through another warrior's arm. I cannot fight them all, but I can give us a chance. Ryan's breath came fast, his finger tight on the trigger. No, he growled. I'm not leaving you. Her golden eyes flicked toward him, fire and fear mixed in their glow. You don't understand, she hissed. If you stay, we both die. But before he could answer, the chief leaped down into the pit, his massive form crashing into the earth. His claws sliced through stone as he advanced. His eyes locked on Ryan. Kareth spun to face him, her body trembling with fury. You will not touch him. She roared. The chief struck, their claws clashing with a sound like thunder. Kareth staggered but held her ground, her teeth bared, her muscles straining. Ryan's breath caught. He had never seen such raw strength, such fire, but she was smaller, faster, not stronger. Every second she held him back was a miracle. The tribe roared around them, their cries echoing in Ryan's skull. He knew Kareth could not hold forever. He raised his blaster, aiming carefully. The chief's massive form shifted, and Ryan fired. The shot struck stone near his shoulder, the blast knocking him back for just a heartbeat, enough for Kareth to slam her claws across his chest, leaving deep, glowing scars. The chief roared in pain and fury. Staggering, Kareth grabbed Ryan's arm, her breath ragged. Now, she shouted, and together they ran, slipping through the cracks of the canyon wall. The cries of the tribe chasing them into the dark. Asterisk, they did not stop until the jungle swallowed them. Both of them bruised, bloodied, and gasping for air. Ryan leaned against a tree, his chest burning. You gave up everything, he whispered. Kareth stood tall despite her wounds, her golden eyes fierce. I gave up nothing, she said softly. I chose the only path worth walking, with you. Ryan's breath caught in his chest. Predator and prey, hunter and human, bound now not by fear, but by loyalty. Asterisk, the jungle was alive with the echoes of pursuit. Ryan and Kareth stumbled through the thick undergrowth, blood and dirt staining their skin, their breaths heavy and ragged. Behind them, the cries of the tribe still thundered, sharp and furious. The hunters would not forgive betrayal. Not for Kareth, and not for the human she had chosen to protect. They reached a ridge overlooking a wide valley. Glowing faintly under the twin moons, strange birds scattered into the night sky. Startled by their arrival, Ryan collapsed against a boulder, his body shaking, his chest burning from exhaustion. Karth stood beside him, her golden eyes scanning the shadows with the patience of a predator. "They will not stop," she said quietly, her claws flexed at her sides. "They will follow us until the ground runs with blood." Ryan wiped sweat from his brow, his voice hoarse. "Then we stand," he said. "We can't run forever." Her eyes flicked to him, sharp yet soft. "You are one human. There are many hunters. You cannot win." Ryan's lips curved into a tired, defiant smile. "Maybe not. But I won't die crawling." For a moment, silence hung between them. Then Kareth let out a low sound, half a laugh, half a growl. "You are still foolish," she said, "but your spirit burns brighter than any fire I have seen." They did not have to wait long. The jungle split with movement. Glowing eyes appearing in the darkness, the tribe had found them, moving with deadly grace. Their claws catching the moonlight. The chief stepped forward, his chest scarred from Kareth strike, his eyes blazing with fury. "Exile means death," he thundered. "You cannot hide. Kareth, and you, human, will feed us tonight." Ryan rose slowly, gripping his blaster with both hands. His body ached, but his gaze was steady. "I've faced worse," he said. Though his heart thudded with fear, the chief snarled, signaling the hunters to move, but before they could strike, Kareth stepped forward, her body rigid with strength. She spread her arms wide. Standing between Ryan and her people, "No more," she growled. "This human is mine. Touch him, and you face me." The tribe hissed, their voices sharp like knives. One warrior spat. "You betray blood for prey. You disgrace us all." Kareth-esque eyes blazed like molten gold. "He is not prey," she roared. "He carries fire, spirit, courage that none of you can see. He killed the beast, he faced the trial, he earned respect. And yet you still call him meat. It is you who are blind." Her words shook the hunters, a murmur running through them. Some shifted uneasily, their claws twitching. The chief, however, only roared louder, his body trembling with rage. "Then you will die with him." He lunged, his claws striking with deadly force. Kareth met him head-on, her own claws flashing, their bodies colliding with a sound like stone shattering. The fight was brutal. Faster than Ryan could follow blows that cracked the earth, snarls that shook the air. Kareth fought like a storm, her body a blur of strength and fury. Ryan's heart pounded as he raised his blaster. Firing into the air, the shot cracked like thunder, drawing every eye to him. "Enough," he shouted, his voice raw. "You call yourselves hunters, but you fear something you don't understand. You fear me because I am different. But I will not fear you." His words cut through the chaos. The tribe stared at him, their growls faltering. Even Kareth's claws stilled for a heartbeat as she looked at him, her golden eyes glowing with something new pride. The chief staggered from their clash, his chest heaving. "You dare speak as though you are one of us." He spat. Ryan's jaw tightened, his voice steady. "No. I speak as a human." He lifted his head, his eyes locked on the hunters, and humans are not prey. Silence fell. The hunters shifted uneasily, their confidence shaken. They had seen him kill the beast, seen him survive the trial. And now they heard his words, words carrying fire, words carrying truth. Kareth stood beside him, her chest rising and falling, her claws dripping with blood. She lifted her head proudly, her voice ringing across the valley. "I choose him, not as prey, not as food, but as equal. If you call me traitor, then so be it. I will walk this path with him." The tribe roared, in anger, but not all. Some stayed silent, their eyes uncertain. The chief raised his claws for another strike, but Kareth moved before he could. Her claws ripped across his chest once more, deeper this time, sending him crashing to the ground, The great hunter fell, his roar fading into silence. The tribe froze, their leader defeated. Kareth stood tall, her golden eyes blazing. "Leave us," she commanded, her voice sharp as steel. "For if you challenge again, you will share his fate." One by one, the hunters backed away, their growls fading into the jungle. The night grew quiet, the valley filled only with the sound of wind. Ryan let out a long, shaking breath, lowering his blaster, his body sagged with exhaustion, but his spirit burned bright. Kareth turned to him, her chest heaving, her golden eyes softer now. "You smell delicious," she whispered again, her lips curling faintly, but not as flesh, as spirit. Ryan met her gaze, a tired smile on his face. "And you," he said softly, "you taste like loyalty." The two of them stood together. Under the twin moons, predator and prey no longer. Not hunter and hunted, but partners. The jungle still whispered danger, but for the first time. Ryan did not feel like prey. He felt human, and that was enough.